Welcome back, everyone, to Montgomery County's Engage at Home, brought to you by the county's Caregiver Support Program. Today, we have a program that's focused on something that I know many people in Montgomery County have been calling for some time. It's focused on shared housing. And we have two guests from the Housing Initiative Partnership. Our guests are Michelle Higgs and Mary Hunter, and they're going to be sharing information about how you, as a county resident, could benefit from this program, naturally background of how the program developed, and most importantly, the impact it's going to have in our community. Many of you know about Montgomery County's age-friendly program. And back in 2019, the housing work group in our age-friendly program started this conversation off. So I'm going to welcome our two guests, and I know that they've got a terrific presentation to educate us about this initiative. Thank you, Mary. I now invite you to start the presentation.
Thank you so much, Lily, for having us here today. We are very excited to introduce the Montgomery County Home Sharing Program. As Lily mentioned, my name is Mary Hunter, and I'm the director of the Housing Counseling Program at Housing Initiative Partnership. We're a nonprofit based in Hyattsville, with offices in Germantown and Gaithersburg. We're about 30 years old, and we are an affordable housing developer and a HUD-approved housing counseling agency. Our vision is that we believe that every person should have affordable, safe, and healthy housing. And again, we carry that vision out by both doing bricks and mortar, the multifamily development, as well as single family home acquisition and rehab. We buy, sometimes the most dilapidated house on the block, and we do a full gut renovation. And it turns into one of the most beautiful houses on the street for sale to low and moderate income homeowners. So we believe in home ownership. And we also have a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, as I mentioned, which provides a full range of counseling services, from home ownership counseling, getting people ready, educated, understanding what all the components of the really complex process of buying a home are, to homelessness prevention and everything in between. And so we're excited to launch this new initiative in collaboration with the Department of Health and Human Services in Montgomery County. And I'm going to turn it over to our community outreach coordinator, Michelle Higgs, to talk to you a little bit more about what home sharing is and what our program will look like.
Great. Thanks, Mary. Good morning. As Mary said, I'm Michelle Higgs, the community outreach coordinator with HIP and the home sharing program. And I do have to start out by saying that this is a very exciting enterprise, and it is one that's innovative. And although it has been in existence, the concept has been in existence for many years around the country, this is a new concept for Montgomery County. And the process is just basically for homeowners who have space in their homes, either a room in their home or an accessory dwelling unit or a basement unit that is available for rent. And we are encouraging homeowners to consider renting to other folks in the community who are looking for affordable options for housing. As Montgomery County tends to be a little expensive, and in many cases, it's difficult to find a rental unit that suits your budget. The home sharing program has a number of components to it. For homeowners, it helps to reduce isolation. Well, for homeowners and renters too, it helps to address the issue of isolation, social isolation. It gives a sense of security when you have another person in your home. It also creates for the homeowner a supplemental income, another income stream for them. That's often needed as you get a little older and perhaps on a fixed income. And in our program, it helps the owner to locate a possible housemate to share with the light housekeeping issues. Because if you have someone who's a little older, perhaps, shoveling snow is not on the agenda anymore, or raking leaves. And when that kind of arrangement is made, there's often a possibility for the renter to get a reduced rent. One of the benefits for the home seeker is that, of course, they're getting a more affordable housing option in this market that can be, a little high. The benefit is that there's a mutual arrangement that could possibly create a relationship. Sometimes it's just, oh, I need a room in a house, or I need a place to live, or I want privacy. But in many cases, it could form a relationship that goes beyond just landlord and tenant. And then when we think about that relationship, you can elevate that to the benefit to the community, in that it makes neighborhoods stronger by offering a use of space that in existing housing that helps people to remain in their homes, seniors particularly, to remain in their homes and age in place, and offers that opportunity for a renter who might have been struggling to have an affordable place to live. So what we do to help is HIP has considerable resources. As Mary has said, we're a HUD-approved housing counseling agency, and we have considerable resources that we can bring to bear to help homeowners and home seekers. We would help them identify their personal preferences. Our counselors can go through, we actually put together a questionnaire so that our homeowners and home seekers can state what they're looking for. Are they looking for a room? Are they looking for an accessible dwelling unit? Are they looking for a basement? The homeowner gets to say what they have. The home seeker can say what they need, and what things are, what they feel is appropriate for them. Do they need to be near transportation? Will they accept dogs? Is smoking off the table? Those kinds of things come up in this discussion with the counselors. The counselors can also help the homeowners and home seekers to navigate our online matching platform, which I'm sure Mary is going to discuss in detail. And they also help to thoughtfully consider these matches to identify folks who are compatible and who will make good housemates for one another. And our aim is just to increase the likelihood of a successful match. This is not done willy-nilly. We give it careful consideration to each point that the renter or the homeowner or the renter makes, to be sure that we're doing this successfully and that they understand each other's rights and privileges and their preferences. So that will keep things working as smoothly as we can.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And I'm going to talk a little bit about how we will really, I'm going to dig in a little bit here to talk about how we can help people navigate this process. That's what our organization brings to the table to benefit the homeowners and home seekers and home sharers. Because, as Michelle mentioned, this is renting out rooms in your house, in people's houses, has happened for a long time. It's happening right now as we speak. However, this is a way for both sides to feel that there's a more secure relationship. They have a framework supporting them, and a guided process that helps them understand their home sharing preferences, some of which they may not even be consciously aware of until they talk it through with a counselor. And so it's helpful to have that framework to support individuals as they move through the process of finding a housemate to match with. So the first step in our process, you can see our little flow chart here, is you submit an inquiry. Either the homeowner or the home seeker will go to HIP's website or call Michelle Higgs. We have a 30185-SHARE is our phone number to call. So you could either do it by phone or go to the website submitting an inquiry. Whereas Michelle mentioned, there's just some sort of basic information about what you're looking for, a basement rental, or what kind of space you want to rent out, what your concerns are, what you want help with. And Michelle will respond to the inquiry, answer any questions, just help people decide, is this the right program for them? Is this something they want to pursue? And if it is, we'll have you work with one of our certified housing counselors who are currently working remotely, like most of us, as you can look in the backgrounds here, where we're all at home. So I'm actually in a bedroom. So this could be a good example of a spare bedroom that I could rent out, currently used as a home office, but all of our counseling staff are working from home using Zoom, like we're here using today. We use telephones, email. We are very, very adaptable when it comes to communication with people to help them, communicate on whatever platform the homeowner or the home seeker feel comfortable communicating with. So the in-depth intake process will, again, just kind of help the clients of this program understand and think through their expectations of the home sharing arrangement. Think about housemate preferences. And this initial assessment is just an important first step in sort of defining where they want to go with the home share. The second step is creating a profile. As we've mentioned, we're using a wonderful platform that is called Silvernest. It's a national platform. And any of you who are listening or watching today can go find Silvernest right now online. It's www.silvernest.com. We're contracting with Silvernest, and we surveyed a lot of different matching platforms and found Silvernest to be the one that we felt most comfortable with. It provides wonderful, it's very user friendly, and it includes a background check, which we really think is very important. So anyone who's in a user identity verification, so when you sign up, and make sure you are who you say you are. Sometimes I think of this as a little bit of a combination of a dating website combined with Airbnb, right? Because you're listing your property and you're also trying to find a match. So you want to make sure it's a very secure experience for both the users, and that's where the background check, I think, is very important, and the user identity, because having worked in the housing arena for a long time, we've seen a lot of scams out there on Craigslist and some other platforms. And so this is one we feel very comfortable with. I'll go through a couple of the benefits of Silvernest. I'm going to advance ahead to show you all, then I'll come back to our process. But Silvernest, I wanted to share this slide with you. This is some of the benefits that they bring to both all of the users. There is a guided profile creation. So on the site itself, you can set your user preferences. It's like Michelle said, it's smoking off the table. It's all sorts of different options for you to to sort of, or you stay up late at night, and there's many different options to choose from that you can then, there's an algorithm that helps match you with other housemates or that have similar preferences. And I want to share with you, because I one of the concerns that we have in this current environment is creating a home sharing arrangement that is safe with COVID, being in the pandemic. And Silvernest does include some options for people to identify what their preferences are when it comes to COVID. And this is going to be extremely important in our opinion. We're going to talk through this with all the clients that we're working with, because everybody has a different risk tolerance right now when it comes to COVID, and keeping themselves safe. And we want to make sure that we provide an opportunity for both sides to match with the right kind of housemate who has similar preferences. So there's the couple of these questions that you can answer when you're signing up on your profile is, when you're around non-household members, you wear a mask. Always, not if outdoors and 6 feet apart, only when legally required, or never. Everyone's going to have a different approach, and you just want to make sure the person you're living with has a similar approach that you do. Similarly, what does your current social/work life look like? Very important to understand this as you're going into the home matching process. Someone might be working outside of the home, or they might stay in and work remotely. And maybe they go to the grocery store once a week. Maybe they don't go out at all. Maybe they get their groceries delivered and are extremely, safe as far as not having any exposure at all. Or they might, and again, you can choose any of these that apply. Do you visit with friends outside the home only? Do you have friends indoors? Do you eat in restaurants? Do you socialize with a small pot of friends? These are all questions that are important to think through as people are looking for their best match. And so we're happy about those COVID conscious features that are just built into the platform. There's a user dashboard, which some people may be familiar with from other sites, where you can see, it's just very similar to Airbnb, where you can see all the different, if I'm a home seeker, I can see all the different homes out there, rooms available for rent, and I can click through the pictures and see what they look like. And you can, once you find someone that you're interested in, you can securely message with the other party in a way that protects your identity. So there's no need to say who you are or have your house, identified before you make that final match. So you can do that initial discussion in a safe way. So I mentioned that it's background screens. This is something that through our relationship with DHHS, we are covering the fee for the background screen for anyone who's participating in the program. Similarly, once a match is made between the two parties, the two parties can stay, the homeowner can stay on the platform and use it. And it offers a number of benefits, including the auto rent payments, so that you can just automatically set up rent coming from your renter into your bank account. So that eases people's mind a little bit. There is a fee for these services. And so this program is going to cover the first 2 months of that platform use and all the benefits that come along with it, having the support of Silvernest. And then it will be up to the homeowner to decide if they want to continue paying. It's 5% of the rent that's charged. Silvernest encourages the homeowner, if you want to continue to use the platform, that you should build that 5% into the rent that you're charging. So that's just an option for people. And going back, so that's all about creating the profile using that wonderful platform that we're excited about. We work with our participants to find the ideal housemate. And one of the ways that we're going to be doing that is hosting, similar to what we're doing right now, a conversation over Zoom during COVID. Let's get to know each other. We provide some questions that both sides can ask each other, make sure they have their talking points to know that they can, what are we going to do about the Wi-Fi? How do we share the utilities? Let's talk about laundry space. Some folks will want to, share their entire space, and some will maybe only want to share part of the space in their house. People will have very different arrangements. Our vision that we're hoping for is that there'll be quite a number of people that develop relationships where they can share household duties, and especially to help older adults age in place. And those relationships, there's some wonderful stories that we've heard from people who've had successful relationships in that way, where both maybe a young person who's in school and needs a place to live and doesn't mind, doing some extra household help, but has a lower rent, is looking for that kind of relationship. And again, as Michelle mentioned, it reduces isolation for both the homeowner and the home seeker. So anyway, we do work on doing a lot of interviews before the final match and facilitating that discussion. And then there's the finalizing your home sharing arrangement with a lease that includes some of those terms in the lease. It's a contract that people can make sure, we want to make sure that all the expectations of the living arrangement are there out front. So there's no question as you're going through, later on, who's responsible for what and how you're going to live together comfortably. And we'll be there. Our housing counseling staff will be there to sustain the match. We check in. We're with the match for a full 12 months. Any issues that arise will be available to help troubleshoot. We facilitate communication and check in just to see how successful it's going, and what the level of satisfaction on both sides are. So that is a bit about the process, and we're currently in a soft launch phase right here in December. We're going to take the month of December to work with some of the folks who have already reached out to us, and to work with some of our current client base, and sort of get a sense of how it's going. And then on January 5th, we're opening this up to the public and encouraging everyone to visit us at hiphomes.org/homesharing to learn more about the program and to submit that inquiry I mentioned. You can also just call Michelle anytime. She's available at 301-85-SHARE. And this is our little page with some of our contact information, and our offices in Prince George's and Montgomery County. So yeah, that's an overview. We're excited.
Michelle and Mary, that was an amazing presentation. And I'd have to say I'm inspired. I feel like you have really thought this through. You've brought in great partners and you've tackled a lot of the questions that I know our audience will be asking. Michelle, would you please refresh our audience on why a homeowner would decide to share their home with a renter?
Well, there are a number of reasons. You might have someone who's retired and they're in their home and they've got 3 bedrooms that are going empty. They may be empty nesters. The kids may have flown the coop. There could be a sad case of a widower that now has a big old house and they're rattling around in it. Yet they want to stay there. They don't feel like going and living with the kids. They don't want to go to a property for senior citizens. They don't want to do that. They want to stay where they are. They love their neighborhood. They love their neighbors. They're around the corner from the store. Why do it? But then there's this option, I have a room available and people are hurting this time. There are things going on and maybe I can help. Maybe I can help someone. And so that heart for helping often opens up a room. You might consider a space if you have, again, room in your home or a basement that's available, or on your property in an accessible dwelling unit. It's hard getting that out. But anyway, a place that would be commodious and easy for someone to use. And if you're interested in having company, that whole sense of isolation can be daunting if you're rattling around in a house by yourself. And this opens an opportunity for two people to get together and share a space and share company and perhaps share a kitchen or share a meal. And it doesn't have to be an everyday, every hour occurrence. You work through what's comfortable for you. Whether you want, to have someone with you all the time, or whether you're good with meeting for a meal every now and then. You have a choice. Both the homeowner and the home seeker have a choice. But many times those are the issues, isolation. The homeowner may need an additional stream of income. They're on, a fixed income and they're covering all their bases. And it would be nice to be able to have an additional income in. And then, once again, they're helping someone out. The home seeker is again looking for something that's affordable. And if they find that in a property that is accessible and, serves their needs, maybe near a bus line, near in a neighborhood with stores and, neighbors that are walking their dogs so they can see people doing things, it's a win-win for both of them.
Yeah, very well put. Very well put. So Mary, back to some technical information. Who is eligible to participate in HIP's Montgomery County Home Sharing Program?
Okay, thank you for the question. We did not cover that, so I'm glad you asked. The homeowner needs to be a resident of Montgomery County. The house has to be in Montgomery County, and the homeowner has to live in the home. We are not looking for participants who are trying to rent out a second home or an investment property. This is a homeowner living in their home in Montgomery County. So that's on the homeowner side. And other than that, there are no eligibility criteria beyond that for homeowners. For home seekers, we are looking, the renter who's interested in renting could be from anywhere. They just have to want to live in Montgomery County. So they might be coming from DC or Prince George's or Virginia or, California. They want to live in Montgomery County, and we're looking for folks who want to have a longer term lease, 6 months or more. So this is not a month or two commitment. It's something that you're looking at 6 to 12 month lease.
Yeah, thank you. And that's the most important. Michelle, in the presentation, it was discussed about, some of the apprehensions folk may be having about inviting folk to live in their home during this pandemic period. How are you guiding and supporting that homeowner so they can better navigate that decision making?
Well, we're having them consider very carefully their own level of comfort. As Mary showed on the Silvernest platform, there are different levels. And you might be okay with someone not using a mask. Can't imagine that, but you may be happy with them just using the mask in the common areas. And, in their room, of course, they're doing what they do. Or you may be good with the social distancing and, being sure that you wash your hands and keep the kitchen clean and wash the dishes and, be sure that you're taking all of the precautions. We've also got a link to the CDC website that gives specific instructions on how to work with someone in a home sharing situation. And it's really not a whole lot more than that. Just be careful, be mindful, be respectful, and notice what's going on around you. Be sure that if masks are requested by the homeowner, wear your mask and do that when it's requested. So we don't get into making people do one thing or another. We just counsel people to do what they feel comfortable with, and to be mindful of the guidelines from the county and from the CDC.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you. Most important. I'm going to be including all the description and the web link to HIP's program. But Mary, do you want to, if you've got it in memory, would you like to share what your website address is?
Absolutely. Thank you. It's www.hiphomes.org/home-sharing. Yes, /home-sharing. I had to double check that. And the phone number to call is 301-85-SHARE. So yes, that's where you'll find us.
Great. And I will include all of that with the description when you look at this episode. So sadly, we've come to the end of our time together, and I'd like to give both of you the opportunity for some final words. Who would like to share some wisdom, some reminders?
I'll start, and then maybe Michelle. I just want to reiterate that in this moment that we're in of social isolation, this is a really wonderful opportunity. There's a lot of discussion about mental health issues around being separated, where we're human beings need social interaction. And while there are some concerns around COVID, I just encourage people to call us, talk with us, tell us what your concerns are if you're worried. Don't let that stop you from exploring this program, because it's a wonderful way to decrease the social isolation that many of us are experiencing, and also because of COVID, and also to increase some income right now at a time when jobs are downsizing, and a lot of people are struggling, as you said, Lily, economically. This is a really good option for affordable housing. So just encourage you to reach out to us.
Thank you. So Michelle, that means you have the final word.
Wow. Just me, okay. My experience has been just really amazing, because I talk to people as they're considering this program, and there's a lot of excitement about it. People are interested and encouraged and thinking, just as Mary has said, this is an opportunity to sort of get through that whole social isolation and, come across on the other side, and also perhaps, get a little income coming in at a time when a lot of people are struggling. And I get to talk with them right at the outset. So I'm getting all the questions and the enthusiasm and, the curiosity, and it's really exciting. I'm very encouraged by the kind of response that I'm seeing.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this has been a great opportunity to share something with our audience that has such impact. So I want to thank you, and I want to thank our guests and our audience for being here today on another Montgomery County's Engage at Home. And as always, I remind you to stay calm.